Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I was going to wait until I started driving. I was setting everything up to go live. But I'm starting now because some dude just kind of pulled up here at the gas station and then walked up beside of me looking odd. And the way that he's pulled up, I can't get out. Let me show you. I mean, he literally walked up on me, and I'm sitting up in the camper in the captain's chair. Okay. I wanted us to chat today. So, had a long talk with some folks over the last few days and been looking back at a lot of stuff with Summer's case. And there's just a lot that I don't know if people's tiptoeing around it. Let me see how this is going to work too. Because I'm trying to see. Y'all won't be able to see what I am seeing as I drive currently with the way that I found to set my phone up. But you can see me while I'm driving. And at least that's better than looking at a panel. Maybe. Y'all might prefer to look at the cigarette lighter panel. I don't know. So let me first update everybody. I was nervous last night. So I was up pretty late. You know, kind of afraid to, I'm waiting on people to move so I can turn around and get out the way and not take a chance of hurting somebody's car. Because they got me blocked in front. You know, men know so much. But y'all got a 30-foot vehicle and you pull around and pull in front in parallel park and pull in back in parallel park and don't leave me room to turn around. But y'all know all this stuff. Whatever. Anyway, I digress. And then here comes this little Honda going right around me on the outside. I mean, people sometimes are ignorant. You see a nearly 30,000 pound vehicle, and let's walk out in front of it and not even look. Or better yet, let's run a stoplight or not stop for the stop sign and turn in front of them or pull out. Bruh, people be killing me. And then you would be shocked. You're going to be, she hit me. Destroyed my car. Well, bro, you pulled out in front of a tank. What would you expect? But anyway, I digress. First of all, hey everybody that's there. Let me shout y'all out. Now's the time before I start driving, because once I start driving, I'm not going to be able to read comments. Let me say that up front. Lord, I feel like I'm in Tweakerville. But anyway, so where I'm camping at, I'm just going to say, is a safe place, well patrolled by police. There's a local officer that has jurisdiction over where I'm going to be parking when I'm around the area, that lives spitting distance from where I'm parking. Matter of fact, it's his land that I'm actually parking in the right-of-way zone. So I felt pretty safe. It's pretty cool because those of you that know, I'm in the foothills / mountains. I'm on the cusp of both. It's hard to explain. When I'm on this side of the county, it's the foothills. When I'm on the side of the county where Mom's house was and where I've lived 90% of my life, I am in the mountains, geographically speaking, where the lines are drawn. So imagine my dismay and surprise, you guys, where I'm parking at. The trees are not pines, poplars, maples, none of what I would expect. They're freaking bamboo trees. And beautiful, beautiful bamboo trees. I mean, all sizes of bamboo stalk. And it's not native nor natural habitat. I'm going to make sure you guys see it. Let me know also in the chat if y'all want me, before I pull off, to show y'all the engine and where everything's leaking from and to, and why that there's just no reason that it should have been touched to do an oil change or to do the batteries. I wouldn't have to do it. What's up, my bucket list? How yo doing? Let me see if it'll let me. I've got to add some more mods too. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Bucket Liz, make another comment. Let me see if what I just did worked. How's everybody else doing today? Let me know. So a lot of y'all were telling me you want to hear ghost stories and stuff. So here's what I plan on doing. Tonight, in the dark, when I'm parked and we got low light, I'm going to tell y'all some of the local lore ghost stories. May even be taking you guys. If you want to go and do it right, I can go park in the Rural King parking lot, which is on the backside of Magnolia Plantation, and tell y'all the story and actually show you the geography that we're speaking about while I'm telling the story. But those of you that want to talk about Summer's case, I kind of feel like y'all want some honesty out there now. And that's what I feel like people been tiptoeing around, placating folks and thinking that if we're nice enough and we kiss enough ass, or we make whatever type of thoughts, that out of the goodness of their hearts people are going to come forward and tell the truth. And I'm going to tell y'all something, that shit ain't never going to happen. And another thing, let me put this out here, and if I receive hate, I'll accept it because I'm used to it by now. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Don, Candace, and none of the Beach Creek, Ben Hill, Hawkins County, Washington County, Greene County, Kingsport area, none of these people are as ignorant of what's going on as they would have us believe. Ain't none of them dumb hillbillies and dumb criminals. Ain't no such thing as a dumb hillbilly. Unless, if we call them eccentric around this area, at least in my hollers that I grew up in, if you're calling somebody eccentric or bless their heart, that might be this person that's ignorant to something. Because that means basically you don't feel they got the capabilities. But nobody that's been in the criminal court, justice, prison, jail system as much as these individuals have are that freaking ignorant. We're all being played. Understand that. If you understand that and move from that point when you're listening to and looking at, I think you'll have a better perspective. Let's see. It's leaking on the root. Flake Seal works wonders. Okay, got you. Well, as soon as I can, I'll get some, or maybe add that to the wish list that I've updated with some. I'm not going to put the items that are more expensive that I need on the wish list. I just won't do that. I just put smaller items like a kettle and a little hot plate, and a little thing that it's kind of like a waffle iron, waffle maker, whatever, but it doesn't have the griddles. It's to make the waffle things, it's flat, so you can do a multitude of things. Dude, I can't move. Y'all got me blocked in, so I don't know why y'all sitting behind. If y'all will get the hell away from behind and beside, I can turn around. Anyway, sorry. Back to what I was talking about Summer's case. I don't know how I want to hit on this. I think Chris McDonough was slipping on some things. And I'm going to tell y'all something that it probably is going to be a very unpopular statement I'm about to make. But I'm going to make it because the truth shall set you free. Well, there's one that's behind me on my back. See, they don't understand. I got big mirrors like a tractor trailer's got on each side. I can see all the way around. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost an illusion mirror. gives, I got like almost the 2D image or something, I don't know what you call it, of what's behind me. It projects it kind of aside, um, off of my window, I figured out. But anyway, that being said, um, right now he's going to be up here loud. Let's see, okay. As a Ford, sound like a diesel to me. What y'all think? Can you hear it? Sound like a diesel. But anyway, Chris McDonough, I think you had something wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to piss some folk off. It is a very rare occasion. Y'all ever hear birds of a feather flock together? Now, Chris said he didn't think Robin was nothing and she's innocent. And maybe she is innocent and ignorant to a point in Summer's case. But as a mother, you had to at least see that child wasn't well kept and well groomed at church. You had to know at some point that the reason the family was even there was because the daddy had to satisfy probation. He had to ask somebody to sign the paperwork. They don't take that volunteer and going and doing stuff on probation without verification. That's one. Two, Robin, you got too much around you. I don't know currently, but at least in your past. Your husband, ex-husband, and this is not alleged, it's been factually shown through the registry. The job he had was in the medical field, and I believe anesthesiology. This is going from my memory, so this is my opinion only. Okay? The article in the newspaper stated that he turned in, or no, my bad, not turned in, tried to remove, that's a good word, because I don't know if he got, I'm pretty sure he did get convicted and do jail time, and that's when they split up. But tried to remove returned spills from a drop box outside of, I believe, in my memory, allegedly, that it said Kingsport PD. It was definitely out of a local police department where they had a drop box where you could drop off used, or like, say I had them and I'm off of them now, I don't take it no more, so I go drop it off. He tried to remove items from that spill, take off the S, drop box. Hey, Lisa. And that was your man. Y'all married. Y'all was together. Then we hear intimations of Candace and Dawn and that crew doing the same similar type activities. Allegedly. In my opinion. You're in pictures hanging with them well after Summer went missing. Even Benny Keys was in one of the pictures I saw, and the cousin of his or whatever that had all the drama back then. I didn't pay attention to that shit. And I'm not talking about Benny. It just so happens that marks a timeline because of him being in the picture. It has nothing to do with him. I don't, ugh. Anyway, my point is, if anybody knows anybody, okay, if anybody knows somebody, most of the time, if you're somebody that drinks, you're going to hang out at a bar and with other people that drink. Okay? If you're somebody that smokes Mary Jane, most of the people you hang out with are probably going to smoke Mary Jane. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down at all? There's an epidemic. There's a whole reason for the Baby Doe lawsuit. There's a whole reason that all these pharmacies and pharmaceutical companies were sued by the state governments. There's a whole reason. People who are on substances that are illegal and need to obtain them are very crafty, very manipulative, and very smart about getting what they want. No matter what the situation. You know, in my opinion, even if your child is missing. Hey, antique little girl. Such as what was going on with Candace and, yep. I agree with everything you just said. She said what was going on with Candace and H, what was the swimming hole about, and when was Summer fed that day. So, a lot of that, in my opinion, is distraction and deception. Plain and simple. Look left when we should be looking right. The one thing I agree about, Chris, is all the answers are up on that hill. I think some people are acting like they know stuff and don't know crap in that area to make $1. I think some people know stuff and they're never going to tell you. The ones, hey Annette, welcome. The ones that actually know are never going to tell you. The only way that I see that they're going to talk is when desperation sets in. And the only way that's going to happen, unfortunately, is to stop their flow. And there's only 2 ways to do that. You either cut off the financial ability, or you cut off the supply. I think if the truth ever comes out, some people are going to be shocked. Some of us are going to feel proven right and vindicated. I agree with what Annette said. The whole day was made up. Just embroidery. That's right. I think so. I think so. And made up by somebody who's very smart when it comes to criminality and making up lies. But they weren't smart when it came to making up lies about what a caring, loving parent would be doing. Let me ask y'all something else. Y'all remember when the detective from Hawkins County came out and he said that the CPS case with the boys was hindering Summer's investigation? And how Don and Candace stated forever and 14 days, we're fighting for the boys. We're not going to give up our boys. I told y'all then, and I'm back here to say I told you so now. The same exact thing that happened with Candace flooding Candace's first daughter and Andrew Jr., that's what happened with the boys, y'all. When it came down to it, and I'm not saying that offer was made, but it does appear that way. Okay? Hey, True Crime and other stuff, welcome. According to what Candace Flooding told us in Wisconsin, according to what she was given, CPS records, and before somebody tries to, whatever, I have the screenshots of the Facebook post where she posted her conversations with Can. her DMs, and all the posts that she made. Okay? When it was put out there, sign over your rights and walk away or face charges. The rights got signed away for Candace before she was ever met Dawn. So my question is that what happened with the boys? Is that why, after 3 years nearly, that custody was signed over? Because that's what the news told us. That's where I'm getting it from. It's from the local news station. I've got that on my channel too. Those videos are available. I didn't take any of them down. Because I don't have anything to hide. I never have. Like some people who are covering this case, in my personal opinion. And I wanted to ask a few questions. Where'd Kathy go? Where you at? Why are you not here no more? And when did you meet Can? Did I hear about Sebastian Roberts' case and Al at night? Media was trying to get in. Yes, I saw that. I don't trust. I don't trust them, and they because there's already a bunch of lies. The satellites hadn't even been deployed. I did my homework on that. I'm gonna tell you, if you come at me, I promise you. If I tell you I got receipts, I got receipts, and I'll pop them out without a problem. It's a little harder right now with my situation and setup till I get everything settled. But don't think I don't have them. I have 2 old cell phones so I can keep text. Smiley. I wonder. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. I'll be nice. I'm going to try to be nice. Sure did. I agree with you, True Crime. They did. That's why, the things that I've seen in the Leilani case and the Rogers case after Summers case, there's no way. I just can't. I can't. I will never, ever talk about another missing child case. Ever. I can't do it. Can't do it. It does me too, True Crime. It does me too. And I tried not to go there with Summer's case. But there's so many obvious things that seem to be being overlooked. Or people were, for lack of a better way to put it, it seemed like that people were purposely distracting, purposely leading us away from. And I want to know why. Why didn't you want us to realize that everybody in that vicinity and little crew, that all of them were doing math, allegedly, in my opinion? Birds of a feather. I'll never forget, and I think it was JLR, but I'm not positive. It might have been Dolly. But there was a YouTuber that was at the end of the road. And if you guys remember, yeah, I do. I'm with you in that. I gave my word to Summer and to myself and to you guys that I would continue to talk about her. And I want everybody to know I don't advocate telling anybody where to go and what to do. I don't care if you watch my channel and my worst enemies at the same time. I don't care at all. At all. Just be real. That's it. We're all supposed to be adults because everything I post, I market not for children. So we're all supposed to be adults here, you know. I'm about to turn my camera around, put it up, let y'all see these people that keep driving past and how they keep looking at me like I'm cray-cray. I'm in a gas station parking lot, parked behind the building. Went inside the store, bought a soda, and used the bathroom. And put the last $8 I had in the gas tank. And I'm sitting here saving as much as I can. That's right, summer will never be forgotten, and we're not going to allow it. My question is, how long are we going to fund the pockets of those that before she went missing could have said something, could have did something, could have helped her? For, what, almost 5 years now? 4 years? I think it'll be 4 years in June. Seems like yesterday. June 15th. Has fun in their pockets made anybody talk? I agree with you on that. It's psyops. When you see everywhere we go, on both sides of Summer's maternal and paternal family, we find illegal substance abuse and SA proven or alleged. It does mentally and emotionally. You're right about that too, Tom. It takes a heck of a lot out of you. I ain't never seen somebody in such a little car have to turn so far to turn around. Boy, he can't drive for shit. Sorry, y'all. I mean, and when I say what I'm saying, look. So, Can, you got her mom's brother. And allegedly that was bad. From what we can see of the sealed records and unsealed records, and from what we know, he can't go back to the town where he's from. Can't even stay alone once he's out of jail. In a halfway house type place, but it's more full-time. So, I don't know, I don't know what you call it, like a group home type situation for people with that affliction. I don't know the proper terminology, and I apologize for that. And then, there's been whispering and allegations about the daddy. Then when you go on Dawn's side, you got the whole situation that came out with those charges and the young girl in the underwear prior to Candace. And everywhere you look in that area, all around. And then, on top of that, Don's family, his sister, her husband. Kind of weird because I understood they wanted children, allegedly, in my opinion. And unless they were biological, with his charges, there's no way they could adopt. Right there in Utah. The ones that bought upwards of $1 million worth of property within a few months, we'll say a year, of Summer going missing. That sister. By the way, here's something for y'all to answer for me. Even buying the book, I can't find out. So since Summer's case, they did another printing of Don's mama's book, and she was already gone. Where are the royalties and residuals going? Who's getting the checks from the sale of the book? I'll wait. That's money, y'all. And I never want y'all to forget that audio interview. I agree with Antique Little, or True Crime. Sorry, True Crime. Here's something for y'all. Remember the audio interview from Clyda Trent? Where she talked about around the 4th, somewhere around the 4th to the 6th, I believe. It's the weekend before Summer went missing, I believe, is when she came to visit and stayed on that one address. I think it's Stagecoach Road, maybe. It's had so many multitudes of people using it as their residential address. Remember who Clyda is, by the way, if y'all don't remember what I showed y'all. Her husband was basically the head of the Church of Latter-day Saints for Kingsport and Hawkins County. President. He was a surveyor that when his passing happened, it made National Surveyors Quarterly News because he invented a digital program that does surveying that is still used by surveyors today. So there's more royalties and residuals. Because when I invent something and I copyright or patent it, unless I sell that patent, and even when I do, I still can get royalties and residuals. And usually it's a time period where it ends if you sell it. And yes, I would know, because my father worked for a corporation called my pawpaw, my bad. Daddy, sorry. Pawpaw, sorry. My granddaddy worked for a company called Great Lakes Carbon Corporation. They dug out pits. He drove a pit through his foot down in one of those pits where they were digging the carbon out, because the way they do certain stuff that they manufacture, they have to bury it in the heat, and the fire forms it into those tubes. And they do a lot of military application. He invented a different way for them to mine that ore up out of there, to pull those things and not have to go in the pits and their glasses fog up and drive it through their foot. And then today he would license and make more money. He patented it. He sold that to them. They paid him a lump sum of money. That's how my grandparents and my kids had trust funds and all that, right? I got wrote out. Sorry, I got pregnant and I wasn't married. But anyway, he got a lump sum for that. And he received royalties / residuals, whatever you want to refer to it as, pretty much the same kind of thing, for a 7-year period. That was the negotiation. And it was like 3%, but it was quite substantial, I promise you. The reason I tell you that is because compared to what Clyda Trent's husband invented, that wasn't shit. Compared to that patent, that wasn't ish. And I'm going to start doing a little patent research. I'm going to see who holds that now. I'm going to see who's collecting that. And see if that's suppressed the same way as who's getting the royalties from the book printing. Because, see, the first edition, a lot of times they'll give you money up front, right? So our first 2 editions, the first edition definitely is no longer in print. The hardback is no longer in print. So when those sell, that's just going to be between each other. And a lot of times, depending on the type of book, but the press this was, it's very likely she had to pay. It's very likely that she had to pay for printing costs, and there was no money up front until there were sales, and then that money was collected on the back end for the writer and the publisher split. But that she had to pay, and you can do that right now. You can go you can write a book right now, and if you're willing to pay to print it, you can. Now, where they got it in some teaching for masonry and carpentry and stuff, that's also more money. When those become workbooks / textbooks for accredited programs, that's money, honey. If you don't know, now you do. Clyda was the best friend of Dawn's mother. Clyda is the person that had to sign over that house and land to Dawn. She is who held and was basically the executrix / beneficiary of Dawn's mom's estate. She's also the person, remember the picture where they look like they're all in their Easter gear with Grandma and Dawn's dressed up and holding Summer, and they got the look what looks like Easter bonnets on in the picture. Candace looks like a woman and all that stuff. Clyda Trent's the one that Dawn said married them. Let's see. True crime, that's what I want to do, is travel around the U.S. And I'm working on being self-sufficient to be able to do that. I'm waiting to hear back from Trojan Labor. They do day pay in 42 states in the U.S. Also applied through Global Communications Incorporated from work from home jobs. As long as I have the broadband Wi-Fi that I have and that I paid for, I can do that. Right, I'm not antique little girl. You can't expect to make a dime. If you're publishing a book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Dawn's mama's passed on, right? And the second and third printing of the drywall books that she wrote happened after she passed on. So who's funding that? Who's receiving profits from that? Is it the publishing house? Did they sign everything over to them and sell it to them? Stupidly. Or is someone getting paid? And really the person that can answer that the best would be the executrix of the estate, or executor. And we would know that would be Clyda Trent. Because the paper trail isn't clear. Even after getting the book from Amazon, even after directly contacting the publishing house, they won't release any information. They won't even contact somebody and have them contact me back. They won't even give me an attorney's name to contact. I tried that eons ago. You know, tax records are easy. It's interesting when somebody who doesn't have any income and no job can walk into the tax office with a couple $100 and drop down some money, ain't it? This is before Summer went missing that I'm talking about with that part. People forget. It tells if it was a check. It tells who endorsed the check, what bank it was wrote on, and everything. It tells if it was a cash payment. The person that brought it in must sign. Can. Don Jr. See, no one's ever explained that. Everybody can say whatever they want to. But I have been to the courthouse and asked questions. At least in North Carolina, let me tell you this. Summer's father could not be a junior in the state of North Carolina. Let me say that again. I don't know about Tennessee. I'm checking in and I'm waiting on some responses. In the state of North Carolina, officially, on any legal and binding official documents, Don Wells, Summer's father, could not be a junior. He would have to be senior, and his son would have to be junior. You must have the exact same first, middle, and last name. No differentiation in spelling. You can't have the same first and last name. You have to have same first, middle, and last. Senior, junior. And when you add the third one, it turns into first, second, and third. That means birth certificates. That means property taxes. That means land deeds, driver's license, social security cards. The law was very clear. I don't know about federal and state, but I'm going to be finding out, and I'll be bringing that to you. Why is that important? Because that tells us who really owns that land. If Don Jr., that's on the land, taxes, and deed is the owner of record, is actually Summer's half brother, not Candace's son. Wouldn't that more explain why Dawn and everyone was so damn certain that Candace wasn't going to leave Dawn? That Candace wouldn't divorce Dawn? That Candace couldn't get any parts of that house? I don't know if Tennessee's like North Carolina, but it's a 50-50 state, and if they've been together long enough, even at a certain point with the children and sharing a residence for more than 10 years, you be entitled to parts of it, correct? But if that land and house, if Clyde had decided he's not doing what his mama said he has to do, so I'm going to give it to his son, instead, she could do that. She could do that. Understand that part. She could do that. And then, if they divorced and they were legally married or not, and they divorced and they separated, Candace wouldn't have a claim to a blade of fucking grass. Don's mama was no fool, baby. I've been saying the junior is the son, not Summer's father, her half-brother. And people have came at me. Just like when I told you there was a female child after Candace Floodden, but before Summer, born and given away at birth. Tennessee CPS, maybe y'all were part of the reason. Maybe y'all part of the reason that the case is not great. What's up, Miss Rhonda? Think about this, you guys. Grandma, allegedly, in my opinion, based on everything I know that happened in Wisconsin, and what Candace Floodden, the eldest child birthed by Can, showed in messages and posted on her Facebook. Grandma wasn't supposed to be around none of the kids. And Candace wasn't supposed to have no children, especially without Child Protective Services being involved. Period. And then there's a data bank that connects all that. So, why did they not have a worker from the moment that that first boy was born? Y'all getting what I'm putting down? If it wasn't the parents that were alleged to be involved and were suspected, those parents may, or the guardians of Summer may have a case against CPS. I'm being real here, you guys. Think about it. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere. Moved around or not, doesn't matter. They called her when she had the other girl before she got with Don. That's why she gave that child up at adoption. Lord have mercy. I'm never going to get up out of here if these people keep parking around me. Lord have mercy. Anyway, here's something else. Y'all, I want y'all to remember some things. Remember, I keep telling you, birds of a feather. Patterns. I used to love patterns in school. I could pick a pattern like that. And my mind does things and arranges things in patterns. Like I see it in patterns in my brain. Other people don't always do that. So I'm a little different. That being said, Don's first wife, Pam, guess where he met her? Allegedly, according to her interviews and everything I have. Let me tell y'all this. I have so much information and documents that I had to create a Dropbox. But don't worry, it's also stored on flash drives, an external hard drive, and the flash drives are all over the place. As well as there's a cloud storage now too. So don't play with me, okay? Yes, ma'am, Rhonda, I agree. I agree with you. But here's something I want y'all to remember. So you got Pam, Don's first wife. He allegedly met her at a homeless shelter. Remember that part, okay? What's up, Aqua? Welcome. So, Don allegedly met Pam Wells, his first wife. Y'all want to join? Come on in. All up in your... Can I get my face back, please? Anyway, sorry, y'all. But anyway... So, Pam Wells, Don's first wife, he met her, allegedly, at a homeless shelter, soup kitchen type situation, right? Follow me, because I am going somewhere with this. Then, you got the second wife, and I might have to, let me check my phone charge, because, okay, we're at 40, we're good. So, then you got the second wife, right? And that's Can. Well, from what we were told... Remember the guy she was dating before that did the interview? I forget his name. Buffalo Bill looking feller. Okay? Heard that, Annette. Sorry, I ain't touched nothing. I didn't do it. And I've got good signal. I moved up here because I got a good signal. So anyway, as I was saying, look at the popo. I know he the popo too. We got an Officer Tatum shirt on. Look. Hold on. We'll turn it around and let y'all see. Right quick. He undercover. Y'all don't tell on him. Ah, Shaduki, he got in the car before I can show you. It's that blue one. See that blue one right there at the gas pump? Oh, it's pretty too. He got the popo watch on, and he got the Officer Tatum jersey shirt. Oh, and he drinking out the police cup. I wave at him though. I love them. They good to me. Ha! Just so y'all know. I just rolled right down Main Street next to them parked, talking in uniform, and you know what they did? They waved and I waved back. Because they know I ain't no doper, and I ain't about that. See, I'm from here. Yes, I do, Rhonda. I see you. You two be messing with a lot of people. So anyway, where I was at was, okay, first wife, Pam Wells. Soup kitchen / homeless shelter situation. That's where they met. Okay, stay with me. Second, hey Mama Bear, woo woo. She that bitch, y'all. And I'm that bitch too. But anyway, I was here the other night and I got kicked. Who kicked you out, Rhonda? Or is it YouTube? YouTube sucks butt. But anyway, so then Pam Wells, homeless shelter, soup kitchen type situation. Can. Same thing. She'd just been dating that dude, staying at his house. They broke up. She went back and met Don. That's the story that Pam Wells told about Can and herself. That's also the story that Can told. Now stay with me because I'm not done. We're going to a third occurrence. Remember the Arkansas situation? The kids and the family that's missing and the police get called and all that? Where'd they find that family and them children? Homeless shelter. So if you're someone that maybe deals in illegal dealings that involve humans, wouldn't like a homeless shelter be the spot to go? I'm just saying. Just a question and a thought. Just ask it. Because if you're looking at it like even let's say you're a serial unaliver like's going on, in New England right now. Or looking back as far as like the Jack the Ripper, those targeted were people that could be put in certain circumstances and situations where they went poof and never came back and nobody gave a damn. Right, though, true crime, that's what it kind of seems like. I need a baby mama. I need a housekeeper. Let me find somebody. And here's the thing. So all y'all, male and female that's in this chat right now, let me ask you a question. And I'm going to come back full circle because I started out with Robin on this. So if you are in a relationship with someone and either before you get with them or during the time, exactly in that breeders, or during the time that you're with them, they are on certain illegal substances. Are you going to stay there if you're not? I mean, the only way that you're going to stay there is if you are socially and financially dependent upon that person. See, people don't exactly understand that. I do. I've been in that situation. I get it. But sometimes enough is enough, But you definitely are not going to go into a situation like that without being in it yourself, if you understand what I mean. So, let me just put it out there. Look, Jody Sue might have been with Andy and stayed with him, and he just smoking Mary Jane, okay? And cigarettes and maybe having a drink every now and then. But you ain't going to be with a raging alcoholic that's a raging alcoholic when you meet them and stay with them for 10, 20 years and you don't ever drink. And you work and are self-sufficient yourself. Okay? You're not going to be with somebody, if you've ever been in an area that is prevalent with the math and math users, you will know instantly you're not going to be there. I don't like to drink. I'd rather have a Pepsi, a Mountain Dew, or a Sundrop, or Meliella, or something. You know what I mean? Or Coca-Cola, or RC Cola, whatever. And a Moon Pie. Give me an RC and a Moon Pie. And as opposed to a bottle of liquor any day of the week. I don't like anything that makes me lose control or that I'm not in full awareness of my surroundings and everything. I just never have. Not comfortable with that. That's why I didn't like to drink. And I don't care for the taste of it. I don't understand how people get hooked, but that's, besides the point. Sweet tea, Mountain Dew, my green trees, I'm with you. But Mama Bear and everybody else in here, let me ask you a question. You ever been around people who smoke meth, who do that Hayron, however you say it, with YouTube letting me? Did you drink while you were with them? Were they an alcoholic before you got with them? Because Don was doing what he was doing before he got with Can Can. Mary done told us. Inadvertently, his own sisters and them trying to take up for him done told us. There's even a different, drinking is a legal activity unless you're behind the wheel of a car or underage. Right, I agree with what she said. Been around them type of folks, can't do that shit, won't do that shit. Agreed. And my thing is, like when I'm sober and at a bar and stuff, I've been a DD a lot. It drives me back crap crazy. Got you. And that's true crime. I agree with that. I get that. I get that. I think Don does that too. I think he purposely is looking for someone that would, one, be dependent upon him and he can control to a point. Two, does what he does or is ignorant to the consequences of it. And hopefully he can get them turned into doing it. Shit. No, hold on. The natives are restless out here. Let me see if I can make this closer. Just watch this walk. See this individual. And I'm not making fun and I'm not showing a face and a tag. That's not a medical issue. That's exactly what we just been sitting here talking about issue. I'm not going to go into details, but it's I know no. I know no. I know that person from high school. I know them. Functional. Yes, yes, yes. So, we've heard how Don abandoned them and went to Utah. There wasn't no food, no money. But there was Candace and 4 children and her mama. And they all ate. The power didn't get cut off. None of that stuff happened. They still had the internet and phones and burner phones and everything else, right? So, I don't believe for an instant that Candace is dominated by Dawn and that she can't survive or support herself without him. In case y'all wondered, that's not at all what I'm trying to say. I don't believe it for a split second at all. I hope y'all don't. There's patterns all in this case. There's patterns of substance abuse. There's patterns of neglect. There's patterns of, I think, targeting and forethought of certain type of individuals. I always kind of got a trap house vibe. And I never have been able to get over one particular thing in Summer's case. How convenient it was that on June 15, all the dogs disappeared and none of them barked. And I'm going to call Jody Sue out right now. Why not? Y'all can't send somebody to my mama's house to break in my car now, can y'all? Y'all can't pay for my hotel room and set me up to get robbed, can you? Want to tell it all? And I say y'all because the person that was the alleged fake FBI agent that Jody says set her up, well, that's the same person I dealt with. They're the only person that knew where my hotel and hotel room was when my car got broken into in Kingsport, Hawkins County, whatever. the last trip I was down there. When I got followed by the all blacked out SUV that turned around at Elizabethton area. And the next day, my car got broke into at my mom's house. And the person got scared and ran quickly. And then a couple weeks later, my house got broken into. And I was called a liar, so I posted the daily report about it there. My neighbors who called the law. They still there. We can go to their house and talk to them. Why would a reputable person who owns a prosperous printing company awarded by mayor, why would he hang with a person on 110 Ben Hill Road? Well, what I'm saying, anybody, the only reason they're hanging is because maybe that's how they're supplementing their income, or there's something there that tricks their fancy. Or both. Just my opinion. But I'm going to say this. And then I'm going to have to get off here because I've got to go charge my batteries before it gets dark. And figure out something neat. I have 2 pieces. I'll show y'all. I ain't even going to tell you. See the Little Caesars? Here's what I have to eat until the 17th. I'm out of oodles and noodles and everything. But there's what I got left to eat, y'all. Which is better than most. So I'm good. But anyway, before I say goodbye, I'm going to finish a point that I wanted to make. And it was about Jody. Jody said she could hear and tell who it was coming and going up and down Ben Hill, right? Right? She could hear and differentiate between the Suburban and the white truck and the little red SUV. She knew Fred coming in. She could hear Andy coming in, right? And she knew all that. And I'm not disputing that's true. Let's all believe what she said about that, okay? Real talk. Antique little girl, I think it wasn't returned. And I think that's why Don said what he said. But let me get there. So Jody, you heard Candace going out when she was searching, right? And you heard them hollering and everything else. Well, they say a strange vehicle came up there and took her. A stranger, right? So why didn't you hear that vehicle? Why don't you know when Fred left out that day and came back in? And I call bullshit on your story with the creek and the dogs. Bullshit. If they had hunting dogs, whether they're coonhounds, whether they're trained hunting dogs or whatever, your scent wouldn't make a damn. The only reason you would need to go in the creek to wash your feet off and wash the scent away is if you had a scent you thought the dogs were going to be searching for on you. The dogs are given clothing or something that belongs to the person that's missing. This is general. This is not even specific to Summer's case. They're looking for that scent. That's the scent they're looking for. So why did you need to go into the creek? Your scent's not going to throw them off. You and her wear the same perfume, bathe in the same water. You've been rubbing on her, or she rubbed on you, and you hadn't bathed since. Did you have her clothes on? You get what I'm saying? And I'm not disparaging her. I'm really not. I'm not trying to knock her hustle. But do it the right way. We're not all city slickers. I'm a country girl. I grew up having to feed the chickens and collect the eggs and go feed Pawpaw's hunting dogs. And they were true hound dogs. God darn, them suckers howled all night long. Just like I don't hear the whippoorwills around here no more. I agree in that. My point is, all the misinformation and falsehoods have done nothing but hurt this case. Have not helped Summer, and they're not going to help find Summer. Ronnie Lawson's attitude and refusal to come into the 20th century is also not going to help Summer. I think the next thing, if we want to help her, twofold. I think we need to start a campaign to put pressure on the local authorities, TBI, and Hawkins County Sheriff's Department to take themselves totally off this case and turn it over to the federals. Simply because Ronnie should have recused his office from the case as soon as his son took that Alford plea. Honestly, as soon as his son called any charge. Because the appearance is what matters to the public. When you are a public official, you are a publicly elected official. That's what matters. And when you have a case that has undertones that this has, and your child looks to have gotten special treatment with similar undertones, think about it. The allegations were that it was, sorry, it's a loud motor. Sound like mine. The allegations are that that child, allegedly, that the Alford plea was surrounding, was his adopted child, raised as your own. And we'll never know the full story of those allegations. There was more than one child. It was like her and her friend. Kind of like, Don's sisters and their friends. Patterns of behavior. At some point, after so many generations, it's not wrong. When I say these people are not ignorant, do y'all not remember me telling you about how the moonshiners in that area were warring with each other, the Crawfords and the Lights? And the articles that I showed you about them making shoes that look like cows' prints, dogs' prints, horses' prints, so they couldn't be tracked by the revenuers. This is generations of that type of ingenuity having to be passed down because there's no other industry there. Furniture and manufacturing, sewing mills, just like here, was what they had. They don't have what we had to fall back on. Tourists, because we got a lake. And mountains and a gorge that people want to come and get into and have the rescue squad have to come and pull them out of every year. Or a state-driven economy also. We have the school for the deaf. We have the mental hospital that's the state. We have the developmentally disabled state facility. We have at least 4 prisons. They're all state jobs. That's not there. How are the people able to pay their taxes every year? Even if they own the land, you still got to pay taxes, and it's substantial. Go look it up. And second of all, how in the hell is 11.5 acres only a couple $100 in taxes? 0.42 acres with a double wide was costing me 900 nearly a year in taxes now. And the year before that, 7, and the year before that, 6. And mom got a discount because of her age. By the way, that's something that's federally offered. I believe Tennessee does have that. And I'm wondering why, if Don Summer's father is the owner of the property and the junior listed that everybody says, then why are they not getting that discount for people of a certain age? Just saying, wouldn't you be eligible? Look at this. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this. And I got nothing behind me. How do they think I'm going to pull out now? And why would you park back here? I'm back here because I have a 30-foot vehicle. Just look. There's a whole parking lot. Well, I parked back here to be out of the way. And so I could turn around and not hit nothing. I'm reading, sorry. I agree with you on that. I don't think it's one particular thing. I personally, in my opinion, have believed that it's a local / familial ring that has multiple avenues of making money. No, it's mauve. Like, the green and mauve they used to do back in the 90s? That is that. It's that. But they did blue and mauve in here, I believe. Eventually, I'm going to dye this little. I don't have much carpet. I'll tell you guys, since we're sitting here for a minute, if everybody wants to, we can do a little tour. Since y'all ain't seen, you can see how I have to strap stuff up when I take off. So, this is the only little area that's carpeted. It's this area where you see it, where I call the captain's chairs are. Okay. Then this is what's called a jack couch. It lays out flat and makes a full-size bed. You see, I can't make it no smaller. I'm trying. But this is hardwoods all through here. It's hardwoods, even towards the door. All the way back in here where the bathrooms are. The bedroom has that same carpeting in it. And nope, I'm not opening my bedroom door and showing it to y'all. Because actually, I've been choosing to sleep here. And Jeremiah and I loved it. This is my little kitchen area with the window. See the back of the building I'm pulled behind. Stove. I love the backsplash. It's not one of the cheapos. It is glass and inlaid. My little spice cabinet. My microwave when I'm able to plug up. My oven. And then bathroom, shower, more cabinets, freezer, refrigerator. Again, when I'm able to plug up and it stank, I might clear that out. Woo! This is the other side. This is the booth. And I've got the table lowered because I just kind of prefer it that way as a workstation. I'll sit down here and let y'all see better. Got drawer storage and cabinet storage everywhere. They can put them. Even that little one above the door. And these up here with the mirrors. Those are cabinets. Pretty substantial in size. And right here I've got my TV covered up and strapped for the drive so it doesn't move. The Jackery's not strapped, but it's got good rubber bottoms. And it's underneath the table. I'm trying to fix this here. I don't know if you can see the other stuff under there. It's just worked out with the TV sitting there. and everything. It's worked out really well at night. And in this area, I have options, multiple options, but I have found one particular spot that I prefer to be in, and it's been very nice, very nice. I did go on the wish list, and because I was asked, let me say this, on the Amazon wish list, I was asked to add some items that I needed. So I did that. It's just there's like a hot plate that's like $9. The it looks like a waffle maker, but it's got flat plates instead of waffle plates. Both are by a company called Dash. Both are, one's like $8 and some change. The other one's like 10 and some change. Found a nice little kettle that folds down and heats up in less than a minute to make tea, coffee, soups, oodles and noodles, that kind of thing. And it takes less than a minute. Everything's under 500 watts. Just little stuff like that. I got a solar fan with lights that recharges from the sun that I put on there. And I think it was one of the more expensive items. And it was like $26. And a small, like, travel refrigerator. It's similar to the one that I used, I had in my bedroom at home for about 6 years before it quit working. And I think that's just, and other stuff is food. I'm going to add some individual and box packs of like oodles and noodles on there for stuff. But I tried to pick stuff that didn't have to be refrigerated even after it was open. Been collecting napkins, packets of sauces, that kind of stuff, and storing them up. And I'm open to any ideas. I am doing research on YouTube and stuff. And we'll be opening the Whatnot store very soon. So I'm excited with that. Lord have mercy, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I hit the wrong button and it disconnected for a minute. Dash is good. Okay, good deal. The place that I found those was, I was doing research and I found a women's channel for RVing and stealth camping, and they actually were having a meeting and showing devices and stuff and multiple use appliances and devices and things that were helpful for people starting out. And that's where I learned about Dash, and that their stuff works really good, really inexpensive, and is made for low wattage pulling, which is really important. Because anything over about 1600 watts sustained for over 2 minutes is going to trip my Jackery. It's 1,000 watt V2. It'll pull and sustain around 1750 for under 2 minutes. And then most stuff jumps up high when it powers on and powers up, and then will kind of go back down and settle out. Just like my Roku TV. When I first turn it on, it's going to pull somewhere between 42 and 43 watts. And then once it gets settled in, it's going to pull between 27 and 29. No, I didn't put an egg cooker on there. Simply because I didn't have refrigeration yet to store eggs. So that's something I can't really purchase. And if I get the kettle or the little hot plate with the pots and pans and stuff that I already have, I would be able to cook boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, fried eggs, whatever. So I was trying to, multitask, I guess. True crime, it's my dream come true also. My dream is to be able to go where I want to go and change my scenery with the snap of my fingers and not be tied to one place, if that makes sense. And right now, in the area I live in, land is very scarce. It's a very, very, very scarce commodity. Oh, and just for you guys to know, on Whatnot and Facebook and such, I will be showing some of my wares that are for sale. I showed my necklaces last night. Bracelets like these that are glass. They're not the fake beads. They're going to be $5 a piece, the same as they are in most stores where you see them. I'm trying to get that 5 to also include the shipping and handling. This one is obsidian, and it's actually got a yin-yang symbol here. That's sterling silver. Love it. This one is amethyst. It is real amethyst. Have it checked and see. And it's a really good price. I have several others that I've already made, been working on. Just wanted to say hi and touch base with everybody. Getting ready to, since I've got Do Not Disturb on and really hungry, getting ready to say goodbye. Eat a half a piece of pizza, I guess, and head out so I can find somewhere to charge up real quick before it gets too dark. Yep, exactly. Oh, for the bracelets, hold on. Let's see. My camera keeps, even though it's bright, keeps making it darker when I try to put them up. I don't know why. That's why I'm working on a better setup. Sorry, you guys, I'm starving Marvin. I haven't eaten today. I had to wait till I got up here and got something to drink. I was out of water and everything. I have to, doing a little research. There's certain lands, I think it's BLM or something. I'll put the info out as soon as I have a full list. Most of them I found are near reservation land, but it's lands where you can park and they can't do nothing to you all over the U.S. Mostly from the Midwest to the West Coast I found. But that's where I want to visit. Never been, so it's great. I'm also researching large chain truck stops and what I have to do to get on the list for the free pump and dump, as they call it. It's just hard right now. There's a rest area and some truck stops on going up past Mom's about 10 miles. But gas is an issue. But you guys, I cannot believe it. I'm getting as good a gas mileage in this beast as I was in Mama's Nissan Rogue. 2017 Nissan Rogue. This gets about 20, depending on how uphill I got to go, because that's when you got to share some gas, and it's a V8. But, or an 8-cylinder, my bad, not V8, 8-cylinder. Oh, and I did put transmission fluid on the list, the kind that's compatible, for certain. But, I'm very surprised. It's been good on gas. I mean, don't get it twisted. It cost me about $164 from a quarter of a tank to a full tank. But I'm still right at 3/4 of a tank. And, Mom's car, that money would have been gone. It would have took more than that for what I drove. I figured the average that right now, the average mileage I've got since I drove it, it's coming up to about 23.4 miles per gallon at $2.96 a gallon, which I think is pretty darn good. Don't know about y'all, but I think it's pretty daggone good. We about to crank up, and I'm going to say peace, love, and light. Probably see y'all for ghost stories later tonight. I may do a video upload on those, so then I can get some pictures and video. There's a book I want to look up online and get some screenshots from and include in the ghost story video from my area. There's several places. We got Magnolia Plantation, which was close to 600 acres. And right now, it's down to less than 8 acres because it's been sold off. And some Indian burial grounds. What I would definitely love to do in the next couple days, if it's not raining, we've been raining every day. This is day 3. Right now it's not, but 15 minutes ago it was, and right before I came up here it was, and then it quits. And I can't be out in the open with camera equipment in the rain. But I want to take y'all through a walk through the Broughton Hospital Cemetery. Everybody that I know that's ever been there, even myself, just walking when Daddy worked there, and my dad's best friend was a groundskeeper at Broughton Mental Hospital facility. It's one of the state facilities. It's like Dorothea Dix's sister facility. So I used to be there all the time. My dad worked in admissions. His best friend was a groundskeeper, and my grandma's brother-in-law was the head of that department. So I grew up out there. And I'm just going to tell you, what people say is true. You can feel it. It's almost like a sizzle. You know, you heard about getting goosebumps and the hair on your arms and back of your neck standing up. Well, you won't feel that. And most people's electronic equipment, like zip zaps, I don't know what else to say. It gets the zoomies. I feel like there's something stuck in my hair, but I believe it's my ear I'm seeing through there. Oh yeah, I want y'all guys to notice stuff. Just a hint, PG. I was watching you the other night. The ears match. Ear shape, especially when it's very weird, unique, and placement, are almost as identical and unique as a fingerprint. The ears match. But the other one don't look like can. I have my thoughts. And it just goes into us being played. If there was a local ring operating, familial local ring operating, pushing rugs and trafficking, do y'all think the neighborhood where Summer lived would know about it if one of those individuals was involved? That's the question I'm leaving you to answer. Peace, love, and light. Tell me in the comments what you think. And Slimy, I need you to tell the truth. Tell the truth. And I mean it. 'Cause defamation ain't no joke. Love you.